And we are live, and we are back with the round two from Wimbledon with the one and only World Capper. World Capper, welcome to the show. What a round one we had. I needed more paper for my notes than usual in the round one of majors, I think that I wrote a lot today for this video. We are here to preview round two. We are here to talk about what happened in round one. Uh, let's start a little bit with the women's side because they are women and we love our women's and some incredible matches, some huge upsets. Sabalenka is out, Osaka is out, Venus is out. Cory Coco Gauff, the 15 years old, pulled off a huge upset, beating Venus Williams, former champions here 2017 last time. Caroline Garcia, Garbiñe Muguruza. Absolutely amazing what happened in round one on this WTA side. We will go further at the men's later on because what is happening there is absolutely amazing. We talked about the next gen, if you remember, on our first video, and the next gen is not a next gen anymore. I think that is an X gen. If we are allowed to mess up with the words a little bit. But what happened on the women's side?
Well, the bottom half of this draw opened up beautifully for your girl. Simona Halep has now got we were a little kind of unsure of how seriously she was taking this grass season. Her camp came out after the French Wimbledon, French Open went sideways on her towards the end there. And her camp came out and said, it's okay, we're focusing on Wimbledon. And we all kind of looked at each other like, what the heck is going on? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, the whole bottom half of the second draw is wide open for her. The other women in her half that I was a little bit concerned about are gone. Osaka, gone. Garcia, gone. The fourth quarter is hers to lose, which sets up a beautiful potential head-to-head in the semifinals between her and Karolina Pliskova. That is going to be for all the marbles. Punch your ticket to the final, take on a beaten and battered whoever comes out of the top half of the draw, which is much stronger at this point. I think they're looking at a Pliskova Halep semifinal for the way that I handicap the rest of this thing. And yeah, it was wild. The upsets on the bottom half of the women's draw were absolutely wild yesterday.
You're not concerned about her fitness problem. She got a little bit injured in the first game against Sajnovic. Now she's playing Buzărnescu. She never lost against the Romanian girls against her fellow Romanian girls in a long time now. I think that she's 11-0 against them. Absolutely brilliant. But Buzărnescu, I don't think that she will put her a lot of problem, but I'm a little bit concerned with that left foot injury. I don't know. She will update us later on her Twitter page, later on her private Twitter page, and we will know for sure. But yeah, I'm confident. Hopefully she will win the Wimbledon, like her coach said that. It's not Roland Garros that we are trying to win. It's Wimbledon. Absolutely amazing. What do you say about this Cory Coco Gauff, the 15-year-old against Venus Williams? Absolutely amazing.
Incredible.
The way she played against her performance against Venus. And what do you think that she will do next in her second round?
I think she wins again. I mean, we see this from the women's tennis players when they're especially young. The air of invincibility that comes along with just not really knowing that experience matters, right? Like they're here, they don't know any better, they don't know they're not supposed to win. They just go out there and play their game, and her game was spectacular. So granted, Venus Williams is getting quite up there for competing at the highest level in tennis. But at the same time, it was an amazingly impressive victory, and I would expect to see more from her in this tournament. It wouldn't shock me at all to see her work her way into week two here.
She will play against Magdalena Rybarikova, who pulled off the upset by beating Sabalenka in the first round. And if she passes Rybarikova,
Great
she will
matchup.
probably play with Madison Keys in the round of 16 there, which is another great match to see if that will happen. 15 years old, do you think that she will have a long career? Do you think that she will have a successful career? Everybody is talking that she followed the Williams sister steps here. Yeah, I think that it's brilliant the way that she started. She turned pro, and now she's beating her idol in the first round of her first major. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was very cool, and I would expect to see, a decent sized career from her. I mean, we've seen the same kind of, progression from the U.S. women's tennis program in the wake of the Williams sisters' success. There's been, investment in it in the United States. She comes from Delray Beach, Florida, which is kind of a hotbed of kind of developing young talent in the tennis programs in the United States. So it's not entirely shocking that she's good. I've heard about her for a couple of years, that she was up and coming. We've seen her play in the Wimbledon girls and some of the kind of the juniors opportunities. And so the fact that she's exploded this early at age 15 is freaking awesome. It's great to see, and I like her to beat Magdalena Rybarikova. Rybarikova is just a junk baller. Like, she gets by just by hitting back nonsense and frustrating her opponent. Like, that's not going to work against a player like Coco Gauff, who's going to find winners and punish her for sloppy returns. So I like this spot a lot for her, and I would expect to see her make a little bit of a run here.
And not only that she's well prepared and she's playing great, she has shots, she has incredible shots, but she's great mentally. I mean, playing against her idol when you're 15 years old and you're playing your first major match against your idol, I think that you have some emotions. You entered a little bit with pressure but no pressure on her. She went there, she hit the ball, boom, bam, bang. Thank you, Venus. I'm in the second round. Bye. Wow.
Yeah,
Absolutely amazing.
She didn't know it. I mean, there's an invincibility when it's your first time, when no one knows your game, when you don't have you don't really have the pressure of expectations. Like as much as the pressure of playing someone you've idolized, you would think would impact you negatively. Not having the pressure of expectation is just as important. So she's going to get a pretty phenomenal experience out of this, and I would expect to see and hear from her for quite a bit in the future. Future women's tennis, probably in the United States at least. And maybe 10 years down the road, because there's quite a lot of other great players who are entering their prime, and she's probably 3 to 5 years away from that, but it's still exciting.
2.63 her price against Rybarikova tomorrow. 2.63 underdog there. You can take her also at plus 3.5 on the Asian handicap on games. You can also take her to win a set here, 1.6 to win a set against Rybarikova, which is again good for an Aka bet. I'm sure that she will have also the crowd with her. She's young, she's restless, and I think that the crowd and the fans will be on her part, on her side there throughout all the tourney. So 2.63 best odds you can find now on Cory Coco Gauff, 15 years old. Do you fancy any matches tomorrow on the women's side or in round 2? Because round 2 obviously tomorrow and on Thursday. Tomorrow some not very exciting matches, if you ask me. This Cory versus Rybarikova. After that, we have Collins versus Sevastova, an interesting one there. Sakkari versus Buskova. Azarenka, a tough match against Tomljanovic. And of course, Simona Halep against Buzărnescu. But I'm watching right now, and I'm also seeing Elina Svitolina against Gasparian. There, Elina Svitolina 1.52. Do you think that that's a good price for Anaka? Elina Svitolina obviously beat Gavrilova in the first round 2-0. and she's prepared to have a deep tournament. I don't expect her to make it to the second week, but against Gasparian, they're relatively tough opponent for her right now, right?
Yeah, I'm staying away from any of the ACCAs on the women's side. There looks to be on paper a lot of mismatches, but the upset is in the air on the bottom half. Svitolina, I have not loved her play for pretty much the entirety of 2019 to this point. There's only one tournament I can think of where she especially impressed at all. She doesn't seem mentally into what she needs to do to be a top tier player right now. So I'm steering clear of all that. And just in general, I like Coco Gauff. I like that look and for the upset. Partially because I don't like Magdalena Rybarikova. I hate her game, and I know she's generally good on grass. She's had some impressive wins at Wimbledon, but I'd like to see her out of this tournament. But in general, on the women's side, I tend to just try to take in an understanding of the form of the ladies in week one before really getting involved in match by match betting with full unit swings in week two. So I'm just going to still doing a little bit of recon, a little bit of research, trying to understand a little bit. I think Wozniacki is primed for an upset. She looked like she was ready to just here to pick up a paycheck before her opponent got injured in that first set. It wouldn't surprise me at all if she has a lackluster effort and heads on, because she's at a time in her life where she's not necessarily keyed in and focused on her tennis career. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's done as of tomorrow. But I'm steering relatively clear of the women's side of the tournament until week two.
Yeah, she's playing against Kudermetova. Kudermetova that beat her on in the French Open 2-1 there. Kudermetova priced at beautiful 2.65. So great value on that either. Thanks for noticing it. Also, Barty, great win. Kerber, great win. Pliskova, great win. They kicked off their campaign, their Wimbledon campaign, on the right foot there, pressing on that gas and trying to win another trophy there. So interesting matches on the women's side. Me, I have around to parlay here. Petra Martic, Anisimova, and Barty 2-0 at 2.67 for a nice ACCA bet here. Let's go on the men's side. And yes, we talked about the next gen. Tsitsipas, Zverev, Shapovalov, all out. Dominic Thiem, as we predicted, lost against Sam Querrey. Sam Querrey in style, not one in style, not like that in 5 sets and 3 of them on tiebreak. No, he won it in style. Dimitrov choked there, another loss for him, and he's going down. Monfils lost in the first round. Popular bets right now, I was checking odds checker earlier. Sam Querrey to win the tournament at 101. He's playing beautiful. Taylor Fritz, amazing win today, and he continues. He extended his Eastbourne win because he won the tourney in Eastbourne with another brilliant win there. We predicted that too. What is happening? And now the gap is even higher, even more higher between the first 3 and the rest. We have Djokovic at 2.2, Roger Federer at 4, Rafa Nadal at 8, and after that, boom, Kevin Anderson at 34. What is happening?
It's incredible. And you named a bunch of those upsets. We expected the team one. We talked about that in our first tennis video. I did not expect the Tsitsipas upset. He's been playing well this year. He's been playing well on grass. For him to go out that way to Fabiano was wild. That was a big upset. Zverev, we know he has not been in a good mental place in all of 2019. You look at just his record and his form for 2019, and it is like he's like a different player. He was so much more dangerous and in such better space physically and mentally in the last couple of years as he was getting, on his career was peaking. And now it's just been completely derailed in 2019 to this point. And, you just have to scratch your head and wonder what's going on with him. Hopefully he gets, he rights the ship and doesn't become, the next Dimitrov of all of this unrealized potential. Dimitrov, that was pathetic. to choke in that manner was
Wow.
unbecoming of a player of his class, and that was sad to see him go out that way. All of these upsets we're talking about, though, guess where they all are in the draw? They're all in the top half. I was being a little bit facetious about Simona Halep and the draw opening up for her. Like, yeah, it has a little bit. I was kind of pumping up her tires a little bit because I know you're a Halep fan, and I do think that she, things are setting up well for Halep. Djokovic, write him into the final. No one in the top half of this
Let's
draw
write him down.
can threaten him for
Djokovic.
a set, let alone beat him best of 3. I mean, best of 5. There's just I just can't understand. Even the price of 2.0, he's going to be a heavy favorite in the final to whoever he plays between Nadal and Federer. It's probably going to be one of those two, and he should be in the minus 150 to minus 180 range, and he should win this tournament. I mean, this tournament is his to lose. Both Federer and Nadal have much more difficult paths, and Djokovic's game is on point right now. So if you haven't gotten involved in the futures market yet, and you're listening to this podcast thinking about Wimbledon for the first time, I've been saying this for like a week and change now. Djokovic is going to win this tournament, and there's value still at as even money bet on him. And literally, you can just watch every other day while all of these other matches take place that really aren't going to amount to anything other than points and money for some of the lower tier players, because Djokovic is coming out of the top half. And everybody's getting out of his way, which is just hysterical. I think we talked about who's going to come out of the second quarter because we knew it wasn't going to be Team. We knew it wasn't going to be, it wasn't looking likely to be, any of the higher seeded guys. I was not bullish at all on Kevin Anderson. I haven't seen him be in the physical shape this season that he's going to be able to win, 5 matches to get to a semifinal. But he looked fairly good in round 1, and he probably has some life in this draw. I still think Karen Khachanov of Russia is a good look. He's fairly decently priced tomorrow. It should be a competitive match. I'm going to pair him in an ACA in a double with his Russian countryman Medvedev, who also looks extremely good right now. His game is great for grass. He looks strong. I think you're going to see both Medvedev and Khachanov show up tomorrow. So I'm going to put the Russian pair together in a double that pays just into plus money. And that's probably my favorite look tomorrow. I like a couple of upsets on the bottom. In the bottom there, Pablo Cuevas takes on Giri Vesely. Vesely is the one who just upset Alexander Zverev. Exactly. That was more of a Zverev choke than it was Vesely really performing, especially impressively, in my opinion. I don't think Vesely has the game to go deep in this tournament. I think Pablo Cuevas, who is traditionally like a clay-only specialist, I don't know if you saw some of the clips of that match, but he was awesome. He was really amazing. So some of the best shots that I saw in all of
the 2 shots,
round 1 at Wimbledon were Pablo Cuevas.
Unbelievable shots, yeah.
Two of them. The one where he's running away
in the back. Exactly.
That one was incredible,
2 of them,
and then
the one he dived
the one where he dove, dove for it and just put away the winner was incredible. So Cuevas, I make him about an even money tomorrow, and he's priced at about 3.5. So that's maybe that's worth a scratch on the money line. I think he pulls away the victory there. I don't fancy Vesely at all in this tournament or in that match. So hopefully Cuevas comes away with some more incredible shots and gets a victory there. The Fabiano Karlovic match that has 80 games written all over it. Like, that thing is going to be super competitive, super long. I know the total is high; it's like 43 or 44 games, but you could put over 3.5 sets in an ACA. You could put over 40 games in an ACA, or you could just bet over 45 games and watch that thing go to 5 sets and probably like between 60 and 70 games. I mean, it's going to be an absolute marathon. Just the way that their games are compatible, and the power that you have from Evo's serve there. So that looks like a clear and obvious over to me. I like an over also in the Stan Wawrinka Opelka match. Opelka is a good up and coming young American. He has a lot of the same tools and skills that a guy like John Isner had. He's like 7 feet tall. He's enormous. Stan Wawrinka, I'm still not entirely sold on his grass game. I think he's going to give up at least 1, maybe 2 sets to Opelka. So this looks like, this has the potential to go 5 sets. So I'm on the over in that Wawrinka Opelka match as well. And then
and we have the match of the round 2, the most expected match. I think that everyone will try to see this match, to see reactions, to see how it will go. And we have Rafa Nadal versus Nicky Rios. Nicky Rios, who talked bad about Nadal in the past, bad about Nadal's coach, bad about his uncle, bad about everyone on Nadal's side. And we have them in round 2. Unbelievable matchup there. Can't wait to see it. Right now, Nadal is priced. We still have no lines for that match, unfortunately, because Nadal just won 1 hour and 15 minutes ago his match. But I think that Nadal should be a huge favorite, despite being a clay court master, and Nicky Rios playing better on grass here. Nicky Rios with a crazy match today against his fellow Australian Thompson. He lost the 4th set 6-0. He didn't play nothing in that 4th set. He was like just sitting and relaxing, and maybe he was saying to the referee, please bring me a beer. I want to enjoy this fourth set, And after that, he won in the 5th set 6-1. What? I don't know. This player, it makes you think that tennis is not for him sometime. Sometimes he's bringing a lot of excitement in his matches, but tanking in the 4th set at Wimbledon, it's not a good thing.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna take a different. I'll take a different tone. I don't really want to scold him for not trying. I think it was gamesmanship. I think he wanted to make sure he had reserves in the tank in case that 5th set went the distance. Because guess what? Nick Kyrgios is not in good shape. He is not. He's not aerobically fit. He has not keep his body in shape for playing tennis. He doesn't really care about tennis. We all know this. If you're handicapping, you know this. If you watch tennis, you know this. This isn't a surprise. And so the idea that he would completely take a set off to save his batteries and his reserves for potentially a long set 5 wasn't surprising at all. In fact, it was good strategy on his part to get the win. I think if he goes all out and tries to get that 4th set and loses a tiebreak, he probably loses the match. So, I get why he did it. And, it's kind of to be expected at this point. That said, I don't think he matches up very well with Nadal's game at all. I would make Nadal about -400 in this one. I would put the sets handicap. I would put the sets handicap minus. I would put Nadal to win 3-0 at about +120, +150, something like that. I think there's realistic chance he just wipes the floor with Kyrgios, just because Kyrgios is out of shape and he really has virtually no chance at breaking Nadal's serve. So it should be a Nadal win here, but it should be a fun match, and I am looking forward to that one a lot. I probably won't bet it, but it is going to be a ton of fun. It'll be on center court. If it's still a game. Right. I mean, obviously, we're betting this. We're trying to make money. We're taking this very seriously, and Nick Kyrgios is not. And so it's frustrating, right? Because it's like, well, why? It's like we want to have some idea of the level of effort he's going to put in any given match, and you never know. Like he'll show up and he plays hard. He's done it in the past against Nadal. He's done it in the past against Djokovic. Sometimes when he plays the best players on tour, he actually shows up and tries hard. I don't think that really matters because he doesn't look like he's in great shape right now. So even if he tries his hardest, I could still see a likelihood where he loses 6-4, 6-3, 6-2 or something like that. So I think Nadal is the right side here. He's the right look. And I think Nadal actually has more life to make the final than the current market thinks. The market likes Federer to go through to the final. I'm not feeling it. I still feel like Federer's not, his A game is not here this fortnight, and he's in a little bit of trouble. There's potentially value on Nadal getting through to the finals where he gets his just utterly embarrassed by Djokovic like we saw in the Aussie Open final. That's kind of the way I see the men's side shaping up.
Let's translate that to our friends. Minus 400 means 1.25 in European, in decimal. Plus 125 means 2.25. Yeah, I think that Nadal should easily qualify in the first round with straight sets win, and that should be an interesting prize to bet on. Also, the minus 1.5 sets on the Asian handicap, I think that it should be good for an ACA bet if the prices will open up at what Whale Capper said. But yes, great matches on the men's side. Also, Cachanov versus Lopez. I think that over 3.5 sets in the match should be good for an ACA bet at 1.5. That I will stick it into my ACA bet. By the way, I'm writing for Oddsmarket for every round 2 treble bets, an article with 2 treble bets. I got 1 winner in the first from 2 with Taylor Fritz to win, Sakari to win, and Yulia Putintseva plus 4.5 games on the Asian handicap. Total odds of 3.52. So that was a winner. On the second one, Arina Zabalenka was the only one who took us out at 3.25. I had Martic, Zidanšek to beat another brilliant former player, Eugenie Bouchard, who doesn't give a shit about tennis no more. He's on her social media stuff. Something like what you said about our friend here, the Australian Nicky. So, yeah, I will put Cachanov versus Lopez over 3.5 games on the Asian handicap at 1.5 in one of the treble bets. So, what you're looking for round 2? You said Karlovic versus Fabiano. You mentioned Cachanov versus Lopez. You mentioned a surprise there with Cuevas there. What else we have here? Anderson versus Tipsarevic should be a straight win for Anderson, in my opinion. Again, good for an ACA bet at 1.62. I think that Tipsarevic is an old player. By the way, you know that the Cypriot former French finalist Baghdadis will retire after this Wimbledon. He just announced today.
Super fun seeing him get that win today.
Great
that was
player.
Great.
Yes, who will retire. What do you make about Sam Querrey match against a tough opponent, Andrei Rublev, who won against your favorite there, the Chilean player Garin? What you make of that match?
Yeah. I would make that one Querrey 3-1. I think Sam Querrey's game right now is looking good. He's getting stronger. The more matches he gets under his belt, the better he is playing. I think he'll probably be, it's a toss-up in my, well, actually, I tell you what, the American men aren't playing bad at all, really. Isner is looking good right now. He's beating the pants off of Casper Ruud. Fritz is playing amazingly well, just winning Eastbourne. The Querrey is getting better as well. So the American men actually showing up in London was a surprise. And I would expect that at least one, if not 2 of those guys play into week 2 here. And I think Querrey gets by Rublev, and I wouldn't shy away from taking a game's handicap if it's in the ballpark of like minus 3.5 or so. I think it has every makings of a 4-6, 6-4, 6-3, 6-2 type of 3-1 win for Sam Querrey, where he gets, he wins by about 4 or 5 games.
Snizemaster is joining us on the live chat here, and he's against us. He's saying Kyrgios will actually care versus Nadal. First set money line is a nice look on for Kyrgios there. We don't know the price yet, but this is a head-to-head between us. I'm saying 3-0 for Nadal.
Yeah, I think 3-0 is the most likely outcome for Nadal. But if you're going to back Kyrgios, you do it exactly like Snice said, because Nadal builds into his match. As he's like a snowball rolling downhill. As soon as he gets the momentum and figures out the way he wants to break your serve, you are toast. And so Kyrgios' best chance is to come out firing early, try to win a first set tiebreak, or try to win, a first set 6-4, 7-5, something like that. At that point, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Nadal seize control of the match and just utterly run away with it. So it's, I don't think that's a bad look. First set money line on Kyrgios if you want to back the Australian, but I still think 3-0 Nadal is probably the most likely outcome.
Okay, that's it for today for round 2. Well, thank you very much for joining us. He will be back, hopefully. He will be back for sure on Friday to preview some matches for round 3. But hopefully he will be back also on Thursday if he finds some time for the Women's Cup finals for football there, for soccer, how they are saying in US. Best of luck today against England. Again, a nice match in Copa America where the very good friends Coutinho and Messi will become enemies in Brazil versus Argentina in the semifinals of Copa America. But till that time, I'm sure that we'll watch USA versus England women's football, their semifinals of the World Cup. Best of luck there.
I'm wearing my red, white, and blue today in celebration. Yeah, man. Let's go Team USA.
Yeah, let's see some goals. Let's see a nice match full of goals and maybe some penalties to go. We want to see goals. We want to see nice matches. We want to see Morgan score a goal. Does she play? Because I know Morgan. Does she play today?
It's her birthday. She's definitely playing.
Oh,
she's gonna score a goal on her birthday.
It's your birthday.
That's right.
Okay,
man.
thank you. Well, thank you for joining me, and see you in the next days.
Best luck.
Thank you. Okay, that's it for round 2 of Wimbledon. And yes, here he is. We have the one and only esports legend, betting legend, esports betting goat, Adam, my friend who is from UK but originally from Canada. He is also an NHL expert on Oddsmarket. He wrote some incredible articles for the Stanley Cup, for the players, and he gave out some great bets. But we are here to talk about the Cathedral of Counter-Strike betting preview, ESL Cologne, Counter-Strike Go. Adam, thank you for joining me. How was your round? How did you go to till now? Round 1 best bets. I think that you had around 7 of them on your article for Oddsmarket. How that went? Wait, because we cannot hear you. Wait. Now we can hear you.
It's too bad you couldn't mute me there because the first round did not go well. I had a number of underdogs, and typically this isn't something that I'll ever do blindly, but typically best of ones do lean a bit more towards an underdog, simply because it's one map rather than a series, and it's usually a more even map for both teams. Sort of like going to like a 5th set in tennis where maybe, it's easier for an underdog to win when it's just the final set rather than, needing 3. But we had 2 16-14 losses that I thought I should have at least got 1. And then a couple chokes thrown in there. One thing that was kind of annoying today was pistol rounds, which is how each team starts a half. They went 4 and 12, and pistol rounds are kind of like coin tosses. You see a lot of variance within them. The best teams win like 55% over the whole year. The worst teams win like 45%. It's really not a significant example for any teams. But I went 4 and 12 on pistols in those best of ones. and it doesn't mean a loss. It gives the opposing team an advantage, and so those kind of added up today. But no, it's day one. Day ones are usually the tougher bit. But as we move into the best of threes, I'm very confident. And you know we're like 12-2 or 13-2 on CSGO tournaments this year, so I'm not too worried about it.
I'm seeing the winner stage and the loser stage again in this tournament, and I'm seeing your long shot here, Australis, who you predicted to win the tournament at. Let me see, what price did you got them for? At 3.56 with Pinnacle at the start of the tournament. They are in the semifinals of the winner stage, and they are playing Fnatic tomorrow, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
What do you think about that match? Australis versus Fnatic right now. I don't have the lines, but that's why you are here to talk about this match, or maybe some other interesting matchups.
Yeah, so of the books I used, only Bet Online actually has any markets up for tomorrow's matches. They have Australis at 1.25 on the money line and 1.6 on the handicap to win 2-0. I'm going to have to do the map breakdown. Australis looked really good today. They were against Big, which Big is not playing at the same level as Fnatic right now. So minus 1.5 at 1.6 seems a bit too chalky for me. I would have liked to see it about 1.8. So I am leaning towards Fnatic plus 1.5. Fnatic will be in a tough spot to win 2 maps, so I'm not really considering their money line. I think their money line is about right. But yeah, so the last time these two played was back in November, actually. Fnatic did take a map off Australis, who was Mirage. Australis have recently, I think we've been talking about them for the last few tournaments, they haven't won their last 5 lands, I think it is, and at the last 2 they've been expected to, because they've been ECS in London and ESL Pro League finals in Montpellier, and they were expected to show up, and they played all right, but they didn't get as far as they'd like. Cologne is a bigger scale tournament; it's more prestigious, as I said. So I do expect Australis to win, but I'm leaning towards Fnatic taking their own map if it's Mirage, if it's Inferno. Maybe they throw a surprise one in there like a Dust, an Overpass. I don't think they will. I think they'll stick to more middle ground maps like Inferno and Mirage. But I do lean their way for that map. But yeah, as I said, the lines just went up and they're only at 1 book, so maybe we find a really great number that convinces us to take Australis on the 2-0 as well.
Yes, I have also the lines here. I just opened up 1.6 exactly as you said, and 1.25 on the money line, and 1.6 for minus 1.5 on the maps. Some interesting matchups tomorrow. MIBR versus Big. MIBR huge favorites there. Ninjas in
I'm already
pajamas.
looking at Big for that one. I think MIBR looked terrible today. I mean, Big didn't look great either. They're not playing equal opposition. I mean, everybody at the tournament is great. Big recently added Dennis, but I think we're seeing this price simply because of the score lines we saw today. I do not put MIBR anywhere near at their current form where Australis is, and Big have played quite a bit with Dennis online, whereas MIBR just added their new player Lucas. I think it was a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. So their practice has been limited with him. So I think what was it, 2.9 for Big? Oh, it's already, see, it's already dropped.
It's going down. 2.65 right now.
What's that?
2.65 right now for Big.
Yeah, but
on the lineup.
Right as I tweeted out that I was coming on the show, it was 2.9 for Big. And I was like, oh, that looks really good. I'm going to have to try and get on that. And so that was 20 minutes
You
ago.
changed the line, mate. You changed the line, mate, there.
Well, I didn't tell anybody, and I didn't actually put anything down. So unfortunately, someone else was a little quicker than me, unfortunately.
Yeah, it
but
happens to me many times.
It
happens to me many times to give a two units bet, which is around 1.8 there, and I forget to bet it at the time I'm giving it out, and after 5-6 hours it's going down at 1.69, 1.7 there. So yeah, it happens. That means that people are listening to us, and that means that they are making money.
I was just going to say, even I would take this probably down to 2.5. I think 2.5 is probably about. I mean, this is just eyeballing it. I have to still break down maps and look at the model and sort of see, some of the statistics behind it, and so. But 2.5, I would still think is a fair price for big here, and. Because as I said, MIBR are not to be. When a team adds a player and they're against a team of comparable level, you really don't want to be laying too much chalk. So, yeah, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, ENCE versus Vitality. 1.83 for ENCE, 1.95 for Vitality, and if they are relatively balanced, as I see. So
yes.
Over 2.5 maps played at 1.95 there. So the bookies are expecting 3 maps with a decider there.
So when I take 3 maps, I try to always get plus odds for it because I think I was reading an article about tennis where players that win in a best of 3 players that win a first set, whether dog or favorite, their probability goes up to win the second set. Not necessarily the third if it's a best of 5, but the second set in a best of 3. Or no, it was second set in a best of 3 or best of 5, but doesn't necessarily carry over to the third set. And I think that I haven't looked into this over the long term, but just sort of keeping track of it, it does seem that that's similar in CSGO too. When a team, underdog or favorite, does show up on the day, it seems that they are more inclined to pick up the second map. Where we see that sort of stay away is where teams have very distinct map pools. So Team A is much stronger on map 1, Team B much stronger on map 2. That's where an over 2.5 is more likely. So even though they're similar in price, I could see both teams doing a 2-0 here. My early lean was for ENCE. Just based on what I saw today.
I see your winner outright there ends at 11. You found them at the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah.
And you specified that they ended Australis' historic nuke streak there, and they should be priced very good around against Vitality, Navi. But obviously, the bookies are trying to reset the line for ENCE, and they are making them favorites against the Vitality.
Yeah, so with Vitality, they've met, I don't know, 10, 11 times this year. I think, 10 times they've met in 2019 with these exact same rosters. Vitality has taken 7 of the 10 maps. Now, the thing is with that, some of them were at CS Summit where, how much emphasis did ENCE put on that tournament? We don't know. One was MDL Pro League, which is an online. No, 2 of them were in MDL. Sorry, ESA MDL. Again, those are sort of more like. I mean, ENCE quit MDL League because they didn't want to compete in it anymore. So I don't put too much stock into some of those wins. I'm not saying Vitality didn't deserve them. I'm saying, one was 19-17, one was 16-13. They're very evenly matched. They've had, 3 overtime games, 16-13, 16-14. They're very close. The line is correct. I do lean ENCE's way, simply because I think ENCE is the better team when they're on point. whether they will be on point tomorrow is sort of where the difficulty comes in. So I stopped them to do the map breakdown for that. I think Ence's performance against Heroic today, they played against Heroic on one of Heroic's best maps. And Vitality, again, they played NIP. I don't know why they played Dust. Dust has been a good map, but they could have gone somewhere else with the veto to challenge NIP. That was a bit frustrating to watch because I was on Vitality on the spread, and I watched them take a 10-5 lead and lose 16-10. They didn't get a single round on T side of a map that they didn't even need to go to. So that was a bit tilting. But so I am leaning Ence's way because I think they have a superior map pool. I think that they're a bit underrated here, but I like the 1.8. I would take them at 1.8. I would probably take them down to about 1.7 at worst, but if we can get it 1.8, 1.9, I think I'll probably go with it.
1.83 right now, the best is on the market. Okay, in 25 minutes we have an interesting match here, Energy versus FaZe. I hope that you have something for us. I'm sure that you already did your homeworks for that, and you kept it nice and clear. 1.75 Energy, 2.04 FaZe right now. Again, free maps, close to even money at 1.98 with some bookies, 2.05 with some other bookies. So give us your take on this match.
So this bet is primarily made because of map pool. Recently, NRG swapped out their in-game leader, Daps, for another in-game leader, Stanislaw. I think Stanislaw has a bit more firepower behind him, but we have a relatively small sample of actual matches with NRG playing with Stanislaw, and almost all of the matches, I think with the exception of the one this morning, has been against sort of the lower tiers of North American Counter-Strike, teams that you won't see at events this good. Nobody of FaZe's caliber, let's put it that way. However, I do think that FaZe's big problem right now is their coordination and their map pool with their new in-game leader, Neo. I do think that firepower-wise, they're still there. They can hit their shots. Neo has done just fine, what's been asked of him so far. But I do think NRG is just sort of in a groove right now. We saw them at Pro League last week. Was it last week, 2 weeks ago maybe? And they look great, and that was with their old in-game leader. But they were practicing the whole time with their new in-game leader while playing at the competition with their old in-game leader. So that was kind of funny to see. But I think all it's done is help them, with the exception of the one player, it's helped the other four really gel. And I think NRG is a team to look out for at this tournament. They looked excellent against Fury today. Of course, they started CT side nuke, which is always an advantage, but Fury are good at nuke. So they're hitting their shots. I don't think FaZe has a firepower advantage or a map pool advantage against them. I like the energy price a lot, so I took it at 1.75. I think it was maybe 1.74. It's been hovering around that, and I think it's about that at every single book. So you're not going to really find a much better price anywhere. But I just I'm not feeling great about FaZe. FaZe might take a Mirage or Dust 2. They do look really good on those maps, especially Dust 2. But NRG can compete on FaZe's maps, but I'm not sure if FaZe's level on NRG's maps. Let's put it that way.
XX on chat, our friend XX on chat is saying that maps are already out, if you guys don't know. So
not for energy FaZe?
Yes, for this match, he is saying that they already took the maps are already out. So if you give it a search,
are they on the Pro League website? Are they on the Pro League website? Because they're not on HLTV.
I don't know. If hopefully he will reach out for us on the live chat, and he will let us know on which site. Because
so my expectation would it be energy going to nuke or train, and FaZe going to Mirage or Dust, and then the decider's tough to say. So you can let us know. That'd be great. I don't see them up so far unless they're on the stream. If that's what he's referring to.
Check the ESL website under schedule.
Yeah, it's the ESL will sometimes put them up first.
Yes, under schedule. Check there because this is actually if you check the live chat, he also gave us the link for it already.
Great. That's perfect.
So
thank you very much.
About energy, I was trying to ask you. Energy, they qualified. They played the semifinals last week on the.
Sorry. So it's I've got it here. Yeah. So FaZe went with Mirage. Energy picked Overpass, and the Deciders does too. That's not actually too bad of a veto for FaZe. They've got two of their best maps in there. So I mean, I'm gonna stick with my Energy here, but and only because I still think Energy have prepped Dust 2 and Mirage. So and Energy looks really good on Dust.
2.18 on Mirage. It's a good stake.
No. Don't bet Energy on FaZe's maps. Either just bet Energy moneyline for the series, or after they drop Mirage, take them to win the series. Those would be my two recommendations.
For example, if they go into the decider on Dust 2, you can find them at 1.8 to win that map, to win the decider.
Okay, just map 3. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. Yeah.
Okay, that's it for today. We will hear from Adam in the next weeks. I don't know if I will see him next week, if he will be here, because I will be 1 week of vacation. Can't wait to leave on Saturday. I'm going in vacation in Turkey, Antalya. If someone wants to join me for a beer, I will be there for from Saturday to Saturday. But
you're still going to watch the show while you're there, Alex. You're still going to want to know what's going on with the CSGO and the esports, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I will be there on my mobile every day to see what is going on with Counter-Strike Go, to see what is going on with Wimbledon, with football, with the latest transfers. So yeah, don't worry. I will probably have a discussion with my wife every single day. She will swear to me why you are again on your mobile checking the scores live. So anyway, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adam, for joining me. It was a great show once again. Thank you guys for joining us on the live chat. Happy to have you as always. And we will be back tomorrow with Natalie and Martin and Dave and Jason. We will preview the African Cup of Nations round of 16, and Dave and Jason, the Sports Cake CEO, the UFC 239 for Saturday. So, and remember to always check Oddsmarket for the latest articles. I'm just trying to write an article right now with the 2 treble bets for tomorrow for round 2 of Wimbledon. One of our trebles won at 3.56 in the first round. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for more esports, football, and everything that we're covering. We're covering all the sports available at oddsmarket.com. Thank you for joining us. Have a great evening.